recording, so you can go ahead and start.
Would that be me?
Yes.
That's no longer.
Correct.
Okay, so I will call the meeting for the October 13th, 2022 Park and Rec Board into order at 6:29. And get a roll call.
Scott Heron.
Here.
Mark Brecka.
Here.
Mary Hanson.
Here.
Foster Neal.
Present.
John Clark.
Hello.
Sandy Goldston.
Here.
Margaret Weiner.
Here.
And Deborah Zerwan. Good.
Would Deb's position be one that we need to look to fill in the near future?
In the near future, I'd like to get one more person on the board to have the full board, and if you're comfortable with that.
How long can one serve on this board?
Three-year term.
Pardon?
3-3-year term.
Not.
And could the ballot initiative in November change that?
Well,
There's a term limit
we'll work with the city clerk and do an interest indicator throughout the community to see if there's anybody that would want to hold a seat on the board. So if you know anybody in the city, and you think you may have interest, that's how we do it. We have them fill out the interest indicator form, similar to what you all experience, and then they get appointed through the.
Okay, so moving on to minutes. Looks like we have minutes, unapproved minutes from August 11th, 2022, since we did not have a meeting. I'll entertain motions to vote.
I would approve.
Read them. I'll second that. Second that. And so, looks like, I know it's been a couple months since we saw those, but take a look if you haven't looked through them. See if there's anything that needs any modifications before we move. Did you see anything that they'd like to change like that? Okay. So can we do the all in favor?
Aye.
All in favor of approving them?
Aye.
Anybody, any no votes? Any abstentions? Just we can consider that the meeting minutes like that. So, any public comments not related to the agenda? I don't see any public unless any of you are going to make those comments. Okay, so we'll move on to communications. It looks like, is that still correct? There's no communication?
That is correct.
Okay, so general business meeting. So the first item is the pool season update. I'm guessing that might be for Josh going to take that up?
Yeah, so it was a solid pool season when it comes to the weather. We only had 5 days that we had to be closed, I believe, due to weather. One lesson cancellation. So overall, it was a really good season. We averaged 101 people during our open swims. We averaged 12 people at our water aerobics, 142 per day for swim lessons. And on the weekends, we had an average of 76 people over an entire weekend. So it was a really good week, or a really good pool season. Yeah.
Josh, how about our staff? How did things work out with the lifeguards and everything this year?
It was pretty good, yeah. We had a lot of returners, a lot more new staff, so there was a lot of training that took place to get people ready and understanding how the pool operates. But it sounds like a good number of them will also be returning again next year, so that'll help us to get some continuity going.
Thanks for your leadership there.
Did any of the board members, beyond myself, have an opportunity to use the pool this summer? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh yeah, it's just a good experience. But the water was, once in a while you get in there and you taste the chemicals, but it was just crystal clear. It was clean. So I really enjoyed myself there. So locker room still, the showers still need
still a project that we are actively
but,
working on. Yeah.
That's minor one now, and I've talked to the scouts there, and hopefully they'll move in the direction of replacing the flagpole there and make it the Eagle Scout project. So we'll see what happens with that. I'll keep you informed if I know something, because I think I was the one that brought that information forward. But that would look really nice to have a new one. The current flagpole tree has engulfed it, and it's rusty.
Yep.
Gotta go. So, but anyways, nice job. Nice job.
I used it a fair bit, and the young staff between whatever training they had gotten and their new interest and enthusiasm, I was pretty impressed. Lucy and I would go down there sometimes in the evenings after work or on a weekend, and there's quite a bit of use of it. A little bit more. They're still holding firm to their rules, but they allowed for a little bit more fun and engagement. And there's times when we have a little diving, little weights, and they weren't making a big deal about that. And there were young little, children using some kind of flotation devices that were approved, and it just seemed like a positive,
A little more relaxed.
Yeah, and that didn't seem to be, people seem to be enjoying themselves. And the lifeguards even, I'd ask them, the one thing they told me, I asked them, would they feel like the season could be extended? And they thought one more week possibly, but beyond that, most of them would have, college or high school responsibilities. And I was just kind of getting a sense from whether or not we could ever go in that direction. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that there's any possibility going in the open earlier direction with the pool configuration it is.
Right. About the only way it would be possible is if we end up in some form of a partnership with Ferris and their staff, which I have spoken with Justin a number of times over at the Ferris Recreation Center. He does not believe that they will be offering swimming lessons in the near future semester next summer, which is something that we had been approached about, was the possibility of evening swim lessons. It's a challenge simply because of staffing, because when you do swim lessons, you're pretty much all hands on deck, so you really need to make sure you have an overabundance of staff and hours available to offer essentially a second set of lessons, or frame it out completely different. Maybe it's not 5 days a week in the morning we do lessons. Maybe it's 2 or 3 days in the morning and then 2 days at night, or it's something very different to play with, and we're not shut off to the idea. It's on our radar to look at it and see if it's something we can mess with. But with that also, Justin said the likelihood is that their pool may not even be open next summer. They'll just close it for the summer, which means that their staff could possibly come to our pool and work. Whether that means we can open earlier, I wouldn't necessarily go that route, but if we could stay open a week or two later, we do lose a lot of staff to the fall sports camps and trainings, and a lot of people have to be gone because, hey, we're doing training camp this week and not going to be able to be here these hours. But if Ferris is back and available, then we can potentially utilize that staff, or if they stay here all summer, that's, again, something that possibly allows us to stay open an extra week.
Would an extra week be valuable revenue for the pool, or would it be more just a service to the community?
Overall, probably just more of a service to the community. I mean, because if we closed down August 12th or 13th this year, you're still in the hottest month, and now the pool's not open. So if you can stay open an extra week, 2's pushing it, but an extra week during one of the hottest months, that's, again, you're just providing a service to the community. I don't know how much revenue that'll actually drive for you, but again, it's bodies in the pool.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Anything else in the pool? Looks like the next item in general business is Hemlock Park. You good?
Yeah. Just wanted to give you guys an update regarding the park project that's going on. Lots of good things. We recently had a basketball ribbon cutting for the basketball court. That was in conjunction with the family and the main donor, along with the Big Rapids Public Schools and various state athletics, both men and women's basketball team. There was a lot of people there. It was a good vibe. So got that accomplished. However, the coating for the basketball court is going to be needed to be repaired in the spring/summer. When they put the coating onto the facilities, the temperature has to be consistently no less than 55 degrees. So it was like that when they did the prime and they did the first coat, but when they got to the second coat, temperatures dropped for one day in the evening, and actually the day of the ribbon cutting, I'm at Clayton right down there, and what happens is you have the first coat of paint, and then the second coat gets placed on it, and if the temperature drops, it creates gas bubbles, and that's what happens. So there's some places where they have to take off the coating. That also being said, we don't have the main logo that goes in the center, which is State Farm. So we're going to just do all that at one time. And then at the same time, when the painter does come, they'll do the tennis courts and the pickleball courts. And then we'll be able to do ribbon cutting there. The kayak launch was delivered to the contractor today. So they are storing it because if we were to accept it, then we would start our warranty period, which clearly they're not going to put it in the kayak launch next week. So that'll be a spring project as well. We're going to put irrigation on the Hemlock Park softball field. The intent is to utilize the reservoir that is going to be in the ground next to the splash pad, which catches all of the extra excess water, and then we can utilize that water for the irrigation. In addition to connecting to the water main that we extended with the hydrant that's there by the softball field. Breakaway rims were added right before the ribbon cutting at the basketball court, so essentially that's it. Complete other than the repair on the paint. And then unofficially we've been told that we are likely to receive grant funding from the CDBG grant that Suzanne applied for before she left for over $1 million. So the commission has slowly been accepting proposals to get all of our historical, like SHPO and ground sampling and our soil boring, the historical portions that are required through the grant. And then the commission just approved a proposal from Jason Vandenbrink to assist the city with the engineering, design, build, and bidding for the splash pad as well as for places. So we anticipate we would receive sometime in the early winter formal award, and then we can make an announcement should that happen. And we're really positive in thinking that we will get that formal award. And if that happens, then we can proceed with putting together a bid, and we have to design and then bid officially for the splash pad and officially playscape and what that new structure looks like. The intent is to put the splash pad from the pavilion to the dorm circle, which is not really a circle, but it's that wavy wall. And then, again, the intent is to take down the playscape structure itself and then put in a new universal design facility with poured-in-place surfacing, so that way they both complement each other. A major focus on not only upgrades, but also having that park be focused on universal design and ADA and all of those things that are really essential for any community like Charleston. So that's our update on Hemlock Park, and just keep our fingers crossed that spring comes early and it gets warm and it doesn't rain a lot.
What did the Bears players think of the court?
Oh, they liked it. They had a good time.
Did they dunk?
Yes, I think they did. Yes.
I would call that a christening.
Sure.
Is there anything going under the tennis courts? Is there a water main or a sewer line that goes under the tennis courts, or does it skirt around?
It skirts around it.
Skirts around it.
Yeah, when we did the utility upgrades, we made sure that we were very efficient.
Before, was it underneath that, or?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just walking the dogs, you're just wondering, I stood on there. It's like, oh my gosh, this is cool. But my wife was asking, where'd the water main go? Is it water or sewer line?
It's one of the main sewer lines.
Sewer lines, yeah.
We upgraded it so it's 36 inches. Probably it is one of the biggest ones.
Okay.
And the flow comes from behind the middle school down across the creek, and then it goes by the softball diamond, in between the drive and the softball diamond. Then it goes all the way down by the tennis court, and then it crosses the near the Riverwalk, and then it heads all the way to the Maple Street Bridge, and that takes everything down to the
And the kayak launch is going to be installed when? In the spring?
In the spring.
In the spring, okay.
Yeah.
I like I saw the serpentine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fun stuff.
we're ready. We're ready. I think it's going to be wonderful.
Really good.
I anticipate as a board something that I don't know if we can get in front of, but it may be worth thinking about, is if there is an announcement and there is a grant awarded, and I know usually we would wait to see plans for any replacement until, once whoever our contractor that designs those are. I anticipate that there will be some nostalgic and, some folks that really could even be upset about the wooden
Already are.
going away. And so if there's a way as a city or as a board that, we can kind of slowly kind of massage that it was good in the 90s or whenever it was built, and, we have to do the two things if we got to go in that route as a community. There's a lot of donors, right? There's a lot of names and a lot of history connected to that, but there's also what replaces it won't be anything like that, because these wooden structures aren't considered accessible. They're not always safe. There's places that kids can get hidden and lost in there. And so how do we as a board, how does the city kind of let them know that, in the process of moving forward, that it's going to look different, but that it'll be a good different? I don't know. But
Yeah.
Is there any way that, like, in a sense, before all that stuff happens, that we can start looking or talking about conceptual designs? Or
It could be during design won't happen until the award isn't. What we've done already is we've had community forums and got input about what they would like to see for a play structure. So that was taken into consideration when the potential designs were submitted to the CBDG and the proposal. So some of those things are submitted already. And nothing's final until it gets approved by the commission. So everything is up for potential, what we'd like to see this, we'd like to see that, kind of stuff. In terms of the nostalgia part, the mayor and I spoke briefly about, the concrete camp locations along the sidewalk. There's already been some that have been ripped out from the utility project and they were destroyed. It's next to impossible to get a fair cut on those portions. So you wouldn't be able to necessarily salvage everybody's, but it doesn't mean that it can't be taken into consideration to try to do something. I can tell you, I was in communications with North Plaza when they took down their play structure, and they too had a lot of community members that wanted to have some piece of memorabilia at some point because it was community built as well. And I'm not saying that we would do this, but what they did is they deconstructed the play structure itself and then set it aside for a day where people could come and they could pick out whatever piece that they wanted, and then they could take it with them. That kind of helped them. Did it solve everything? No, but I mean, there could be some possible components to that level as well. We're going to be sensitive to it because we know that people did the same thing as what is happening now. It's a new generation of people, and they're creating their own communities too. So.
Nobody likes change. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. They just flat out don't like change.
Well, I'm sure. I
think
to presume that the people that put up Playscape, there was a group of different generations that didn't see it there before, and they didn't like to see it be utilized in that fashion. So, I mean, we're in that change where there's a group of citizens that want to see improvements, and
they step in the right direction.
Yeah,
Does Mount Pleasant have any? I'm sorry. Does Mount Pleasant have any events at all to say goodbye to it, or was it just
no,
put it out there
nothing I'm aware of.
Okay.
They just basically coordinated the efforts to, when they were taking it down, they did not want the community to take it down
Right.
for liability. But that was their kind of, well, here you go, attaboy to those that were interested.
It wasn't overly damaged. There was enough that people wanted something that was different.
Well, like, for example, the main poles that you see in Playscape, we wouldn't be able to give those away.
Right.
But, there's a lot of little pieces throughout the whole entire thing, like little fishes and stuff around the fencing. There's some people that have their names on them and stuff like that. So we try not to destroy it.
When they replaced the school, the high school in my hometown, which was there forever and a day, like 1929, they just did something similar to that. All the bricks were placed out, and people could take.
People whatever they want. Yeah.
And a lot of people did that.
Well, maybe worth our efforts to consider some kind of being official about before it closes. And the worst thing would be when things happen like in the winter when nobody sees it, and then all of a sudden it happen. Like if the community has an opportunity, and if there is a appropriate thing closure-wise to do, say farewell to it and let it do its thing. That would be something that.
Was the wood pressure treated?
Yeah.
It probably can't burn.
No.
Just seems like a lot of wood, bonfire.
Yeah.
I mean, cremation, great solution. Very efficient. Gives people closure.
I don't know that fire chief would like that too much. So.
I mean, I don't know. I know training exactly.
Yeah, okay.
They could put some dolls. They have to rescue from the.
I just killed rescuing doll. That's good for you.
The only stakeholder that could be worth reaching out to that so they know this is happening that could easily be impacted is, I believe it was the Big Rapids Garden Club that put together that kind of educational planting all immediately around the playscape, and I imagine that would be impacted by any demolition and or new project, and so there's plaques on those trees and things as well as trees that could be dug out and potentially used elsewhere, but I can't see that that's going to stay in place.
Probably.
So, something to at least maybe make them aware and see if there's any connection.
Yes, there's a lot of memory trees and things of that nature there. Mary was the main caretaker of all those plants alongside the playscape structure. She recently just died, and so they reached out to me and they wanted to put a memorial tree for her this year, and I said,
Who runs the historical museum in Big Rapids?
Runs it?
Is it like a city-owned building?
Nancy Malicky did stuff on the house today. I don't know if he runs it, but she's
Yeah, I don't know who runs it.
I'm just thinking maybe something that people would appreciate would be like adding a photo of the place date before it gets torn down at the museum, and like a little blurb that's like, Placegate was built this time, it lasted so long, it was replaced on this date.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, sure. Like, and then like, you know, people that are upset, it's like, you know, it's like, hear about the history, you go to the museum, document it there.
We have plenty of historical signs in the park too.
Yeah. I thought about a plaque in the park, but it's like, well, I mean, in 30 or 40 years, when whatever, or however long what we put in now, like how many plaques can you have? This is how many play equipment were in this park.
Well, it served its life purpose. I mean, it's been 26, 27 years that it's funded. So that's a typical amount of time for a piece of equipment. So,
Anything else from you or from the Mr. Mosler?
I have something.
Move on to who's gonna?
Yeah. Go straight from point. So we're going to be applying for a touchdown grant. Jesse has been the point person for all the skate park stuff. She's done a phenomenal job, and to date, so far, she's got about $80,000 to do for the whole park project. So she'll continue to do her fundraising and skate park kind of events and get people still interested in until she leaves, and then leave Emily and the community development department. She'll pick up in there. They've been working with Josh. So it's a good, exciting project, and we hope that we're successful in our grant and we'll have a skate park built, not next year, but we're hoping 24.
Josh, do you can indicate any of the things that have been happening over in the parking lot, which that would be Sweet Hill, right? As like part of the recreation program, when they've done Jackson Street and other kind of things.
Oh, the meetups? Yeah, I mean, they've created those events, and I share them out on the City Park and Rec page, as well as then they get that out to the schools, and I believe they've gotten it in the newspaper as well. So
I know that the thought of recreation, including skating in this community, is probably a little new, right? Because that's not what the kind of thing that in the audience probably that you're offer things to. So I just know that if you're doing it, then keep doing it, right? I mean, because how else do you let people know? There's still people at Ferris and elsewhere that come to this town and don't realize we have a pool. So I'm sure there's going to be people that don't realize we have a skating events going on. So. And is that outhouse going to be part of like the kind of more permanent? Is that, I don't know what you say, there's an outhouse, accessible outhouse there. Is that the thought? Is there more events going on? That Sweet Hill has a temporary or permanent outhouse out there?
We've had that out there for a number of years. At the Sweet Hill parking lot. Are you talking about the Porta John?
Yeah, the Porta John.
Yeah, we've had that there for a number of years.
Well, it must just be different enough of one that I've not noticed. The one that
you just never had to pee when you were there.
Probably. Probably. That's an awkward way to think about it. I honestly never noticed it before this. It's like summer.
If you didn't have to pee, you wouldn't be looking.
No, the reason why I was asking is, I mean, when you have facilities and things that you can accommodate, that makes a big difference for what kind of events you can have there and other people want to be there. Because it used to be used for tubing, right? People used to park there.
They still do.
Do they park their cars on the grass though, or?
Well, during the Pride events, there was people that parked there.
What would it take to get like a water pump there, like there is at North End?
I don't know that we would want them yet. The number of steps that we have to go through to keep that okay by the state of Michigan law. We have to do a lot of backseat sampling and things like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we wouldn't consider it.
Yeah.
It's not part of the original plan.
Yeah. I know that like when I was younger and skateboarded, like, oh man, it's a lot of energy that
Oh, yeah.
takes to skate. You'll burn through water, like, you know, probably get a lot of use. But, you know,
It could be. And nothing's out of the question. I mean, somebody talked to me a couple years ago about redoing tennis courts, and now we got millions of dollars going into a park. So anything's possible.
We may be planning for a community that grows by a couple thousand if there's some of these jobs come through, and looking at Park and Rec planning for a bigger community and a different looking community. You know, can we attract the people to live in this area? With battery plants go through and the north side of the town that's well developed. It could drastically change things like is there accessible state walkways to the end of the city or beyond, you know, up there. Very important. I don't think any of us have looked at in the master plan anything beyond. I know city limits is usually where we stop, right? It's within the city limits because it's the thing that'll be interesting to see.
Yep.
Will there be any plans on adding lights to the new basketball?
I know a lot of people have asked about it, so we don't have that earmarked as of yet. Eventually, I'm sure that'll be something that will be presented as CIP.
Do the courts have hours?
So park hours are done at 10 p.m.
Do you think that'll be enforced? Like if people go over there and shoot the hoops at
I mean, we are right across the
I
street.
know,
They stopped playing basketball.
Basketball's not much fun in the dark.
Right.
Yeah, if there's becomes lights. Are the ones down by the school, do they have lights over there? No. And by Riverview? No.
I can see lights going in by the skate park, or for the skate park too.
I mean, they'll play right up until, I know at Riverview, they'll play right up until it's dusk.
Yeah, I can't see.
What kind of construction is the skate park? Is it cement? Structure?
Well, we haven't done into all those details yet. The city commission is going to be presented a agreement with the company that Josh and Jesse have been talking with out loud. They're unique in that they can create pump tracks, which would be asphalt, but all of those details haven't been designed yet.
I think the skate park portion would probably be a slab of concrete that then has structures like attached to it, like fun boxes, rails,
Most common, yeah.
half pipes, that kind of thing. But typically, I think just a flat slab of concrete. Concrete is preferable to asphalt because asphalt just deteriorates so much quicker and it's rough, whereas concrete can provide a smooth surface for a very long time.
Anything else in the skate park? Speaking of the watershed, do that before on there.
Yeah, so they applied for a grant earlier this year, and they notified us that they were successful. So next year, they will be working with us to address the erosion at Claycliff, specifically at the spot of Claycliff. And so our city's match is $13,500, and they have a plan in place as to how they're going to address that. And I don't know what that plan is, but
Yeah, I'm very curious.
it's going to happen. That's good. I do have one more thing to give you guys an update on, which is the Osceola Park. There's a huge tree right there at the entrance of the park. It's the street, but I don't know. So we did the downtown lighting project, and Mark got an idea in his head that he thought it would be kind of cool to have that tree get lit up for the holiday, because they cut down the tree over at the hospital. So there's really no tree lighting ceremony location. Now, we recognize that it's kind of tucked in the back of the middle of nowhere, but that could be a good thing too. So We haven't dove into the details yet because the tree lighting guy showed up here this week and ordered the lights, and he got the lights for the downtown, but he didn't get the lights from the distributor for that tree. So it's really going to be timing on whether or not he's going to be able to get everything here and then mobilize. Hopefully he can be here next week, and then we can plan from there. But he says that when he lights it up, it's going to be looking like quote unquote the Rockefeller tree. So got a huge plan in place on how he's going to make it done. Just something a little bit unique.
We call it the Grunts Brothers Beacon.
I like that.
Yeah. Beer here.
Yeah.
Electric. Yeah, there is electrical over there.
We added a service off of the meter there, specifically for the tree lighting.
Cool.
That park's getting used more and more. I mean, it's used both by homeless people, people like me that walk my dog through there, people that ride their bikes. The beaver was up there, but he's gone. So he got taken care of or left the town.
Chickens are slim in the area for an old-time beaver.
I know. He came all the way up to the top and started working on some trees up.
Did he really?
Up from that pond, so he was really.
He probably got kicked out of the nest. He's looking for a lady. He's got to find him a good spot. They did that a few years back, too. Same thing.
I don't have anything else. Josh does.
Do you feel like the Mitchell Creek Park, when its erosion and sand issues were addressed in a way that meets the city's needs and or, I don't know, the residents' needs? I haven't heard anything directly. So you guys did a nice job pulling out.
Oh, from the cleanup?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that it's pretty well buttoned up. A couple of repairs.
They went after that. They went fast.
Yeah.
Getting that road paved back up and everything.
There's a new footbridge, and they cleaned out all the sand out of the little storm rain garden thing.
Yeah.
About every 3-4 years, I'll do it again.
And it is all coming from upstream Mitchell, all the way up to the farm fields past where the clay cliff is. Sand kind of works its way down, and it's really sanded in the lower Mitchell Creek now.
Got it. So there's bricks at the Veterans Park. I'm going to be putting those in on Sunday.
Okay.
Those are replacements for the General Fuller, the ones that are there, and then I have the new ones in my possession. So I'll lay those in.
So the ones that you're taking out, are you just going to leave them at the park and then you want us to just dispose of them?
I could. I don't. I'll take them away with me. I don't know, or I can just set them off to the side. Yeah, they're corrections. Is what they are. So
okay. Whatever you want us to do.
Because we'll be in there probably. The city will be there in there prior to Veterans Day, probably sprucing it up.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just I'll lay them out there then. So.
Jean stopped by and she said she's ordering that, and she's got that fence for March.
Oh, okay.
And she said she was going to call Steve the wiki and get that rolling. So I think her intent is to get it put into the park before Veterans Day. But I don't know that for sure.
And I don't know about a recognition for that. I don't think it's going to be now. I think it's later or something like that. It's Mark's best friend. Yeah. So,
I don't know any details on that.
No, yeah. I do want to say from my family to you, thank you all for your kindness for the loss of my son. And your card was very touching and thoughtful. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for being part of our family. Thank you. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you. Do you have one more thing I want to say? That we have to elect a new chairperson? Is that what I'm interpreting correct?
I would recommend that we wait until we get a full board, because we're missing Vicki right now, and she's still serving. And I don't know if she has any interest in sitting as a chair or vice chair. So if you could give us the opportunity to communicate with her, if she can't come to the next meeting,
we like elected her chair and she didn't want it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Are you looking to fill one seat then?
I believe that's it.
We're looking to fill
It's
one
just
seat.
that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of young families that I'm closing my eyes and looking at the neighborhood now.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we got, oh my gosh, yeah, up and comer. So, hey, just for, FYI, I put in an aviation request for the Veterans Day Parade
Yeah, I heard
for, Coast Guard out of Traverse City. It looks favorable.
nice.
It looks favorable, like right down Main Street, like that. Yeah, with the request, I specifically said, please hover over Michigan and Maple. And just kind of hang there for a little bit and then just go right down. But anyways, I just heard from them yesterday. It looks favorable right now. But it's mission requirements and things could change. They're on skeleton crew for the weekend because everybody's off. It's a weekend, but they're going to do a training mission and then instead of landing, they're going to head to Big Rapids. So fingers crossed, we'll see. And weather's another thing, but I just think 1,000. We're going to have 1,000 kids on the Strauss there, and I just think if that ever happened, that would make their year. You know?
Absolutely.
So, anyways, just want to let everybody here know that.
So we can postpone the new chairman until the November 10th meeting?
Yes.
Is there anything else that we haven't taken care of? Or new business that anybody needed to bring up?
I can just give an update on our work at this golf course really quick. We've installed like an out of bounds marking system on a few holes. So we took 5-foot long pieces of PVC that's 1.25 inch wide and sunk them about 2 feet in the ground in concrete and then filled the pipe with concrete. We also put a screw in the bottom of the hole, like sticking out a little bit, so it's like in the concrete so you can't blow it out. They feel pretty sturdy. We did test one with a piece of rebar in the middle to see if it felt sturdier. It didn't really. It's like an extra $5. So fingers crossed that people don't try to rip them out or break them, but even if they do, it's like $10 to replace one. I can't imagine they're going to rip out 30 of them. They're placed every 50 feet on those holes. So I think Leonard and I and a few other people sunk something like, I don't know, 20 or so those holes. We used to get power on it. So that's really great. And we have all of the new graphics up on the existing key signs, except for on a few holes where the graphics guy screwed up the graphics or something, so they have it. And then he delivered the rest of the short key sign graphics to me at my house today, and me and Leonard got all of those adhered to signs that were being stored in the garage. So big thank you to the city for keeping those. Some of them got a little rusty, so I had a little work party sanding them down, hanging them up. So they're looking pretty good. I'm hoping that this Saturday we're gonna maybe get 18 of those in the ground. We'll see how far we get. I'm hoping to have them all in the ground by the 29th. The ground's gonna get frozen and it's tournament there on that date. But the course is looking really good.
Yeah, thank you.
What's going on there?
For all the volunteering efforts.
I'm sorry, what's it called? The second key.
The short key?
Short key.
Yeah, the short key signs. And I'm really happy with the way the graphics turned out. It's a huge upgrade for the course, and I'm optimistic that after our tournament this fall, there's probably going to be another one in the spring from an out-of-town organization post tournament. But I'm hoping that more people coming playing the course, they're going to see what great condition it's in and all the upgrades, improvements, and really nice stuff we have, and it's going to keep improving in online rating, which is definitely a huge way that the golfers find courses. They look for what's the top course within 50 miles of me, or whatever. You know, Northern's already pretty high up there, but we think that we could maybe improve a little bit more. So, fingers crossed, keep bringing to Big Rapids.
Yeah, good effort.
Any other unscheduled business? Shall we adjourn at 7:14? Okay. And I guess November 10th?